Yo, what's up, everybody? Monday, May 10th. How do you like the hat? Right on, Schmidt's beer. All right, listen. Let's talk. First of all, Monday sent out the new edition of MMT Trader. If you want to get a copy of that, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial. Big reversal in some of these commodity markets. Folks, I've been telling you about this. Let's go over it. First of all, lumber. Lumber down 5%. May lumber futures were down 5%. But what was more impressive, or stunning, I should say, was the collapse in the May-July lumber spread. Now, you may know this. I may have mentioned it in previous videos. But lumber was in a steep backwardation. As a matter of fact, all these commodity markets were in steep, in some cases, record backwardation. What is backwardation? That means when the spot price or the front month contract was trading at a premium to the deferred contracts. I've actually been talking about that in the context of how the term structure, the markets themselves, okay, we call that the term structure as you go out in different months, May, June, July, August, all the way out. The term structure of these commodity markets was telling you that prices are coming down over the course of the coming year. I mean, I've been telling you this. This is a supply shock that is as a result of the pandemic and supply constraints. This stuff is gonna abate. It's gonna be worked out. So anyway, the May-July, which was like at a record backwardation, I think we were almost up 200 points May over July. That thing dropped down to a negative 60. I mean, I sent out a chart today to my subscribers that that thing was going up, and then plunged straight down, wiped out the entire backwardation, which had been in place for, I don't know, maybe 6 months. I mean, that thing was just wiped out in a day or a couple of days. So, I mean, the market's telling you right there that supply is coming back online. So we had lumber down, we had copper down, we had oil down, we had natural gas down, we had wheat down, we had corn down, we had soybeans down, we had coffee down, we had sugar down, we had cocoa down. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I don't think this is a one-shot deal. Look, let me be completely honest here, all right? There have been a lot of really unsophisticated players who have been buying into this whole inflation, hyperinflation, because of money printing. They're printing money. They're printing money. I try to help you guys out in understanding and at least, breaking through all that nonsense that you hear from the quacks out there. And reading Zero Hedge or whatever, or wherever else you go to get this nonsense. I mean, printing money does not equate to inflation, does not drive inflation. You have to have, again, something broken in the system, which is we had the pandemic, which shut everything down, or you have to have a monopolist raising prices continually. And the monopolist here is the government. And you're talking about the Fed and the government, what they pay for things or what interest rate the Fed sets. And it's at, basically at zero. And you look around the world at Japan or Europe, it's zero or negative. You're not going to generate a lot of inflation like that when you're keeping pricing down at a minimum. Again, the cost of credit is reflected in the cost of all goods and services. You had a lot of unsophisticated people buying into this whole inflation thing, all right? And I get it. I mean, believe me, I get it. Some of you, you're seeing food prices going up. You're seeing other things going up. You can't look at a 1 year relative increase in prices and equate that to inflation. Inflation is a continual and often out of control rise in prices. It is not a one-off price rise as a result of a global freaking pandemic, okay? I mean, we've never been through something like, at least not in modern times anyway. All this stuff is going to normalize. I'm telling you. Now, you know, if the fiscal support, and that's another thing. Again, nobody talks about the fiscal, only me. All you hear is the Fed this and the Fed that and the central banks printing money and central banks this and central bank. This is just sheer stupidity. This is pure ignorance. People looking over here when the real thing is happening over here. I said this before. The Fed is a bank. Like, I can go through these videos every single day and just, you know, repetition is how people learn. That's how you're going to learn. The Fed is a bank. It lends against assets. It regulates the financial markets, and it sets prices by virtue of its rate setting function. And if it's setting prices at 0 or 25 basis points, it's not setting prices very high. Okay? The Fed is a bank. It regulates the financial markets, and it sets prices by virtue of its rate setting power. The government sets prices by virtue of what it pays for things. And I don't see them jacking up, you know, look, labor costs or something like that. Now let's talk about this whole labor situation, because I know a lot of you got angry at me. You're screaming at me. You're writing things on Twitter like, hey, I got a small business and, you know, this guy Norman, he doesn't understand what's going on. And, you know, I do understand what's going on. I've got several businesses. Look, we can't live in the paradigm that we have been in for the last 40, 50 years where you're squeezing everybody. By the way, if you have a small business, this is going to help you if you have a little bit of patience and if they continue to do what they're doing. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, Biden might get cold feet because he's listening to, I don't know, Tucker Carlson or somebody else saying you're paying people not to go to work. All right? These are reparations for decades of directed policy to reduce wages, union busting, offshoring, deregulation, tax cuts for corporations and the rich. All of this is political. Look, if you want to get mad at somebody, don't get mad at me. I'm on your side, man. Get mad at the political system. Get mad at these people who continually, and this is both, look, I'm not arguing for one party over another. They're both terrible. But that's the only path out of here. Now, what's happening right now with these, with the stimulus and fiscal support, you have to understand that's a good thing. And if people have more money to spend, if workers have more money to spend, if they have more buying power, that will help small business. Small business is in trouble because wage suppression has forced industry and the whole kind of economy to, how can I say it? It has forced the economy to become highly, highly concentrated into the hands or the power of a few big enterprises that have used, you know, the tax cuts, the offshoring. You know, they've been able to tap into all that through a government capture. And that's how come they're beating you dead. If you run a small business, you should want workers to earn more money. It will help your business. Anyway, you know where I'm coming from. I'm on a one-man mission to turn the narrative. I've said that. And so that's it. So the commodity thing is over for now. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. It may not be over long term, but I mean, it's over for now. These things got way ahead of themselves. A lot of unsophisticated people buying into this whole hyperinflation nonsense because they're printing money. So, you know, the dollar might get a little bid here, but again, you got to sell the dollar on rallies. And the fiscal thing is what we got to pay attention to. And as long as that's in place, we're going to see the growth. And by the way, I'll make a prediction right now. That, you know, kind of weak job report that we saw last Friday, that's not going to be repeated again when we get the next one for May. Anyway, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial of MMT Trader. Bye.